Good morning, everyone. It's Friday on South Beach here at Moxy. We're very excited to be with Leslie this morning. And thank you, Leslie, for taking the time. And I admire our GMs that can meet with us on Friday morning because I know you're going to have a long day, a long weekend. So I wanted to, first of all, thank our new and renewed members for March. Really appreciate your membership and looking forward to working with all of you. Many of you we've known for many years as I look at this, actually since the beginning. Probably Miami International Airport has been a member of this association for well over 20 years. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to share with you our upcoming events. We've had a lot of events with women. I don't know if it's Women's Month. I think every month is Women's Month. But on April 20th at 11 a.m., we have a really great group of women in technology, hoping that you can join us. On April 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, this is a panel that I'm on with Miami-Dade College, and it's called Thought Leadership and Hospitality. So really, you can take a look at the agenda and see what is it that you would like to. You don't have to be on for 4 hours. I don't want that to discourage you. I think you should definitely look at the agenda and just jump on, when you want to be on. On April 23rd, we have Coffee and Conversation in partnership with the South Florida Concierge Association with Dr. Brian Williams, who is a keynote speaker, author, and consultant. And then on April 29th, we have a hospitality check-in with the team at Mr. C's in Coconut Grove. So looking forward to another charming hotel. And so many hotels have opened up during COVID. And, this project, Moxy South Beach, has been amazing. And it's really super exciting, super fun, and a Marriott property. So, what more can we ask for? But today we want to talk to Leslie about, some of her passions growing up and how she was and how she got here. And she's really a great leader, and we're really delighted to have you join us today. Leslie Weil, General Manager of Moxy South Beach.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you? Are you busy this weekend?
Very. I think we're busy every weekend.
I know. I had to ask, but yeah, and the hotel is just beautiful. Looks so beautiful. Can't wait to walk inside and see it. So we always like to hear about how you how'd you grow up and your education, significant opportunities and challenges you've experienced, and how you got involved in this wonderful hospitality industry.
So I grew up in Peru, in Lima, Peru. I was born and raised there.
Great food.
I know, the best food. That's what I miss the most. Even though there's great food here, it's never the same. I moved here when I was 18, but when I was 15, I perfectly remember telling my dad, I'm going to study hospitality. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know, I like to travel. I like to meet people. It just seems like it's good for me. And it's rare, right? Because here I am 25 years later and still doing it. I talk to my daughter, she's 14. And if she tells me what she wants to do, sometimes I don't take it seriously. And I realize that I decided what I wanted to do. I stuck to it a year more than she is right now. I graduated high school when I was 16, and I lived in Israel for a year, kind of staying true to I like to travel and I want to meet people from all over the world. I did everything there, from working in the kitchen, washing dishes, cleaning vegetables, gardening. I worked in a farm with thousands of turkeys. That was very scary. So it was really a great experience. And then I actually started as hospitality school in Peru. There was just one university that did it. I just didn't feel it. And I convinced my parents to let me come study here. And it took a lot of convincing. And my mom in the end said, if you can get accepted without us having to send you to classes or anything, just do it. And the internet was not what it was today. They would send me CD-ROMs from the schools, and I just did it. And I took the TOEFL and I took the SATs without any classes. I had always been a little bit of a nerd. And I passed everything, and then I got into FIU, which is where I wanted to come. And I moved here in 98. And then the rest is history. I've been here ever since and doing this. I did briefly move to Philly a few years ago, but I guess I just knew this is what I wanted. And I think, I don't think I knew why I wanted it. I just knew it, and it's worked out so far.
Talk about challenges that just come up to mind, right? You know, what challenges did you have? You traveled, you left your family, you traveled far, right?
Yeah.
At a young age.
Yeah, I think when I look back, I think my parents were crazy. Though, you know, you want to let your kids fly, it's still like, oh, wow, they really let me be this person. And it's never easy to be away from what you love and what you know. I guess I was just convinced, but I got here, I was an international student. You know, you can't do everything that other people can do when you're international. It's not like you can start working immediately. I mean, I think we had great opportunities as international students in FIU because we were required to work 1,300 hours. So it allowed, at least over the last year, to really get into it and decide if you love it or not, which I think is the best thing they do. I think I was very focused on learning, right? So I think my college experience was a bit different than that of my friends. I really, really loved what I was doing, and I took it very seriously, and I took tons of classes. It was probably hard at the beginning to be away from home, but really Miami is, like I always say, it's an extra city for every Latin American country. So people were always coming and going, and it's close enough to home that I could always get on a plane and go. You know, a lot of people always ask if I felt like I had issues being a woman building up my career, but I really don't. Like, I just always knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I never looked for any, oh, this is a problem. I just did it. And I think by not thinking about it as a negative, it just becomes not a negative. Like, I never thought of the outside perception. I did everything. I actually worked for Turnberry for 13 years in older select service hotels in Aventura. They're super dear to my heart until this day. I always say they invested in me and my training. And that's what I always strive to do for my team since I became a GM, even before. I worked my way from a housekeeping intern to a general manager, passing through front desk, from the supervisor, sales, accounting, finance, all in 13 years. So yes, like I think that's one of the biggest challenges. I think once you are in the industry is your family, right? The hours are crazy. Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why would you work overnight? Why do you work 20 hours a day? Why do you work 7 days a week? What do you mean you don't have weekends off? They don't pay you enough to do everything you do. But I always told my parents, it's just let me be. I love it. Like, and I know it always will pay off because, you know, they always say that if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. And that's how I feel. It's not like every year or every day has been easy. I actually grew up in this industry, and for the most part, with those 13 years, I grew up with the same team. And, you know, every family I've created along the way has seen me grow, has allowed me to grow, has taught me what I know. So even if it was crazy, I think today my parents said, okay, you were right, which is not easy for parents to say. But, you know, sometimes you just have to put through that so that you can understand once you're a leader what your team is going through. And I think I was well prepared in FIU. I was well prepared by the teachers, the classmates, and then with life, right? With working everywhere from how everything except for engineering, I think I've done. I've plunged my fair share of toilets. So
I think that's so, you're so young, and I can't believe what you've done so far, you know? So what was your and hi Rocco, good to see you. It's great to see you. Well, this is a great FIU testimonial video. We'll make sure you get the recording, Rocco. What internship, like what was your favorite internship, or just kind of like where you really enjoyed it and learned so much? And
I think that I went into the internship as an unpaid intern, and it was great because they were like, we're going to rotate you. And I spent a long time in housekeeping at first, and then I went to sales, and then I went to the front desk, and then they said, okay, we want to keep you, we'll pay you. So then kind of like the internship kind of ended because I got a real job. I was talking to some of the FIU students recently in one of the classes, and I told them, like, I graduated college and started working at a front desk. And I'm so glad I did. I think sometimes we come out of college thinking, oh, I'm already going to be a manager, but I think that it serves me well to not expect to be at the top since the beginning and work my way up. Like if you're confident in what you have, you're going to get where you want to. I think if I look back and I was like 21 and graduating college, I don't know if I really know what area of hotels I wanted to do. And like being able to grow from the bottom, which is just as important as any other area, really allowed me to be better at my job today and be confident that a GM is what I wanted to become. You know, some people just want to be in sales, some people want to be in asset management. But to me, like doing that internship, stopping what I love, the front desk is dear to my heart because it's where I spent most of my years. And even every wrong turn, like when I went to finance for 2 years and I learned a lot, it's just not me. I think it took me to know exactly what I wanted to do. And I think I do it better because of it. But it definitely was quite the ride.
Well, and learning finance too is very, very important, right? I think it's, so you've really learned that you were in every department, like you said, except for engineering.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't think anybody wants me in engineering because I would probably break more than I can fix.
So you do you have family and friends that just kind of follow you when wherever you work and they come and stay with you?
They do. I worked for so long in the same place, which is rare. Most people that finished FIU with me either stayed here or went to different places off of college, right? That's where you have the less responsibilities or attachments to where you are. Then that's where you like travel. I did it a little bit opposite. I worked in all the hotels in Turnberry. I went around and then I started working in different areas in Miami. And then in 2015, after I opened their loft in South Beach, now the Gates, I had the opportunity to move. And I just grabbed my daughter and went in the middle of the school year. So I spent 2 months in Chicago and then in Philly for 2 years. And yes, definitely, first everybody thought I was crazy. Like I said, I think sometimes you just can't think over it too much. You just have to do it. I'm a single mom, but I have an incredible daughter that, you know, if somebody follows me around and just really goes with it, is her.
How old is she now?
14.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I moved her in the middle of her, I think it was 3rd grade, to Philly. I didn't take her to Chicago. So I went to Chicago 2 months and then moved to Philly. And I think it was a great experience for both of us. I think, you know, being able to have exposure to different markets allows you to start thinking a different way, relate with different types of teams. Like it was a different world. I loved every minute of it. So that year I did 2 openings and 1 transition, and that's where my love for openings started. But I think that even though it seems like I did a flop, and then I came back to Miami for a job like 2.5 years after, and then I've stayed ever since. Miami always pulls you back. There's something about us that's unique. And then I've been here since, but at this point I've worked for luxury, I've worked for hostels, I've worked in Latin America, I've worked in Miami, I've worked in Philly, I've worked in Chicago. So it allows you to lead a different way because you really, really get to experience diversity. So I'm glad I took that leap of faith and just grabbed my child and left.
So how are things going in Latin America? I mean, because, you know, it's an important destination for us. And I know that some are recovering slower than others, you know, globally. When do you think that we'll be, you know, seeing that business back?
I think it's just weird, right? Because I think every country is doing things differently. Yeah. Like it's not like, for us, it's always been like one market, but in reality, it's all the sub-markets. So I'm Peruvian, and Peru was the worst of the worst, right? I've been there a few times since the pandemic started. And lately it feels a little bit more normal, but it's still really, really bad.
They have a lot of cases still?
A lot, like they're in their 2nd wave. The problem is that the vaccine rollout is slow. So Chile, for example, the vaccine rollout has been amazing and they're doing really, really good. Mexico never closed. So, you know, it's still, I don't think, you know, some areas of Miami might have been affected, maybe more the beach, but if you went to Aventura during the summer, it was still full of people from Mexico. Argentina is still very close, and that's a big market for us. Brazil has had some more freedom, but I guess it's the perception of how safe we are too. I think people will start to feel safer once our vaccine rollout is a little bit more advanced. there's a lot of like different political things going on in Latin America right now, a lot of elections. So that always causes uncertainty. I'm hoping that by Q4, things will be a little bit more back to normal, and everybody that canceled trips is probably eager to just come back, right? And just have their lives back if it included traveling. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, because I think that once it's open, the floodgates will open. And that's why I think our seasonality, like I talked to the team about this, it's like, we don't know how the summer is going to be. Like, we didn't expect the winter to be the way it was. Like, it's just also fluid, because everybody's in a behavior that's, psychologically, it's not about it's too hot or it's too cold. It's about where I can actually go and take a breather from being trapped.
So I hope you're keeping a journal, because you opened Moxy during COVID.
Yeah.
And you were hired. How far? Like when did you start working for Moxy before it was open?
I started working here on March 11th.
And then when did the hotel open?
February 11th of the following year.
Okay.
So I started March 11th, and the world shut down on March 14th. I think I was the only person at the beach coming to the office. Thankfully, construction never stopped. I feel like I was very blessed, because I had left my prior job a little bit before. I had like some space in between, and then all this happened. And I was able from the outside to help some of my old associates with unemployment, with where they needed to do things, where they needed to go. Like, some people would call me, just to talk. I had a lot of anxiety for seeing everything crumble so quickly, and I felt powerless, but also thankful, right? Because I was the only employee. I was not affecting anybody else. I started volunteering at the food bank, because I felt, okay, that way I can actually help people in my industry that no longer have income. And because I had time, because I could balance my schedule, I had lots of training to take. We were still building a hotel.
So your office was it in the hotel?
Across the street.
Across the street. Okay.
I would come at the beginning. I was coming every day. Then it got really scary coming to the beach, because there was nobody here. And it was, I guess it was a reminder of something none of us really wanted to deal with back then. Like, we all kept thinking it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over, and then it wasn't. So I balanced. I would come at least once or twice a week, and then the rest of the week I would work at home. I would just walk the construction. Thankfully, construction never stopped. Like, it was still considered essential. So if there were any delays, it was maybe for outbreaks within the subcontractors, but not necessarily because they couldn't come and do construction. It was an interesting balance on what was going on in the world. We're going to open. We probably did 125 budgets, because things change so often, and you also have to assume it's so much unknown, right? My team, the first people in my team started in July. Then a couple of us got COVID. So then we got stuck at home working, but at home. But like we always said, we got it over with. So then we felt a little safer coming back. And, I think this has taught us all a lot about resilience, about working together, about being very creative. I always say that if there's an industry that can get hit with something like that and come back, it's hospitality. We have people that are like nothing else. We're used to constant change. We're used to different people. We're used to adjusting, right, based on the environment. And while it sucks and it hurts so many of people that are dear to our hearts, because everybody in the call has a team that has gotten them to where they are today. And, to see all those of our family suffer, it's like heartbreaking. And even ourselves, right? Many of us probably were not working at that time, because just there was no demand for all the positions that we all hold. I think I heard so much positivity from the people in this industry. Like, we're going to get through this. We're going to do this together. A lot of people venting to each other, but then knowing that we know so much because of the industry we're in, that if somebody was going to come back with us, and it's just good to see us getting there. It is still a very interesting environment. I think we're all going through the same hardships with hiring. It's just, Miami's so busy, and it's so hard to find people. And I think just like COVID proved the value of resilience and working together, being sold out in this environment, just, it's the same. Like, we're only as good as our teams. And if the team is 5 people or 25 or 100, ultimately that's as good as we're going to be. And I think if COVID taught, I think me and my team something is, we can only do it if we do it together. And if we don't care about wearing each other's hats when we have to. Like, I am extremely proud and honored to have the team I have, because pre-opening, there was not one department that didn't clean rooms. There was not one person in the team that was not dusting and that was not putting stuff in the room and opening and checking steamers, whatever it was, like sales, revenue, finance, you name it. It was not just operations. And that's what makes you successful. Like, to me, that's my biggest pride. It's not the numbers or being the budget.
How many employees do you have now, Leslie?
I think if I count like the agencies that we're using for housekeeping, about 40 on the hotel side.
Okay.
We were probably originally budgeting for like half because we didn't expect how busy we were off the gate. I mean, I know
nobody did. Yeah, nobody did. Absolutely.
And
is it now like balanced, well balanced as far as or is it still, well, the weekends are the busiest.
Yes, I mean, so February week, I had capped the first week, thank God. But I mean, we kept it at 65, and then how it went to 75%. I mean, we still have 202 rooms, so that's still a lot. And in the end, my team was like, okay, just pull the Band-Aid. And it's not like I wish we didn't. The owner is very, very grateful because we just went with it. But then by the time that February was over, we were sold out every single day until the curfew was announced.
So I just sent a note to Rocco to see if he wants to join us for a conversation.
He said it would be a pleasure.
I think Fahima's.
He should be coming on.
Great.
I will. His picture.
Yeah, oops. Had to press all the buttons first. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Rocco.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
And so Rocco's in his office.
I thought I knew your entire story, but I learned more today.
You always have to leave something for every new person you talk to, you know?
You need to hold back, yes, and have surprises.
Plus every day you're a day older, right?
Oh, don't remind me about older.
We're getting younger by the minute.
Yeah. So Rocco, have you been to Moxy yet?
No, not yet. It's terrible.
Yeah, we have to go.
Out and about. So
soon though, soon.
Soon, I want to come by and see it. Yes.
And
Moxy's for the young at heart, and I think both of you are very young at heart.
Of course. And Leslie, talk about like if we were, wanting to do an event right there, a live event. No, would it be there at the pool or just because it's hard to do a private event at your pool? I can imagine.
We have different areas where you can do events depending on the size. So upside, which is the rooftop, we have 2 rooftops. One is where Serena is, where it's in the 2nd floor rooftop, which is Serena is basically depending. If you're looking from Washington, Serena is to the left and the pool is to the right. So the long pool, the main pool is to the right. It's hard to do events at the pool because the pool's always busy and there's not a lot of floor space. So Serena has event space. You can buy it out. There's in the back of Serena, we did the GMCBV event and it was great. And then we have upside, which is the 8th floor rooftop where you can have beautiful views of the ocean and nice. On the other side. And that area is great for a private event.
How many does that hold?
I mean, Marlon will kill me because I don't know the right answer because it really will depend on the setup. But I think it's like 300 if it's everybody standing and walking.
Really?
It's the entire block, basically, right?
Wow. Wow.
But
so definitely 100 would be nice.
So it's the total, it's the what you have on the top.
I see Marlon. Yeah, you got it right.
Thank you, Marlon. I'm glad. It's beautiful space. Obviously, Miami, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it rains. But what's great is that during the day you have an incredible view of the ocean, and then at night, where the ocean gets pitch black, you turn around, you have the lights of downtown. So to me, that's the space that I used to convince every team member that if they were not sure they wanted to join, you took them to the rooftop and they're like, okay, I'm sold.
So weddings too, right?
We can do weddings, yes. It's outside, right? So you always have the risk. And then we have 3 smaller studios where we do business meetings as well that open up to our courtyard in the first floor. And we've had a few business meetings there already where they have the TV, they have a conference, like they have like a conference table where they can sit down, they have the TV, they have lounge space, they can eat there, they can open up and eat at the courtyard. So during the day, that area is open, it's part of the lobby, and then it has retractable walls that you can close out. So private dining you can do there. And then we have Serena, like I said, on the second floor that they've had tons of events. And then at the end of the month, we're opening Como Como, which is a marisqueria seafood restaurant on the first floor as well. So we have additional fun coming our way.
What type of restaurant will it be?
Seafood. It's a marisqueria. So it's seafood with a Latin flair.
Oh, fabulous.
With a huge
Marco, that can be our dinner.
Yeah, I hope there's Peruvian influence there.
There's all sorts of influences. I mean, our chefs are amazing. Honestly, like people can't stop raving about Serena. And I always tell him, it's like, now you have working extra hard because now you're going to have to match it, right? Match the quality. But he will. We have a great F&B partner too. And I think that makes your experience at the Moxy more unique because you're not just coming to a Moxy or just coming to a Marriott. You're mingling with all of our local guests, which are basically just as important because they're a part of the experience. So having the locals visit our place for tacos or for Serena, and now soon Como Como, gives it a different experience for a tourist that comes and all of a sudden they are part of Miami, not just visiting Miami.
Well, you know, listening to you, we've got to have you at school more often. You've got to speak to more and more students because your enthusiasm, not only your enthusiasm, your experience, your smile, it's all infectious, you know.
Thank you.
What a great ad for hotel management.
Well, and Rocco, we could do these kind of things for the students because the students it's complimentary. If we could do some, yeah, we have to when we catch up with our women GMs and whatnot. But yeah, Leslie is just a great. I mean, she looks like she's 20 years old, right?
Thank you.
You could be one of the FIUs going back to FIU and. No, the people would think that you're the same age. I'm telling you.
Thank you. I actually try. Whenever Rocco reaches out, I try to go. I did Professor Moll class just a few weeks ago. Yes. When we had first opened, I think the week of opening, we did.
I did the class too. It was great. It was just great.
I just feel like, and it's one of the things that I think I've told you, Rocco, is that when I was in FIU, you had started the Dean's Lecture. And the Dean's Lecture was great, and in some classes it was mandatory to attend, but it was a big audience for one person or two people speaking. So these interactions that are a little bit more one-on-one, I think would have served me well to better understand the industry. And then since I did it the first time years ago, I vouched that whenever you needed me, I was going to do it and really give out my contact information because hospitality is about real life experience. And it's true that it's not for everyone. It's true that like most of the people that graduated with me either decided to do HR or finance, so they didn't have the crazy schedule. And some are like me that love it and are there every day.
Yes.
But some people tell you hospitality is more about the experience. I think what FIU gave me was super valuable because it allowed me to grow faster. I just decided to not cut any corners. But I do feel that the students benefit from having that one-on-one interaction or like 5-on-1 interaction rather than the big Dean's Lecture when maybe 10 people get to ask a question. So I like the new way you're doing it. And that's why whenever you've reached out to me, I go because I feel like, like you can become a mentor to these kids. Because when I look back, I felt like I was such an adult and no. They have somebody they can ask questions, whatever the question is. So it's to me, that's why, I'm always there.
Yeah, they need the understanding and the motivation.
Yep.
And my gosh, you supply it both, as we say, in spades.
Thank you. I don't know how to do it any different.
Well, this is wonderful, and always a plus to have Rocco with us too, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So just really very proud of you, and you're very impressed, and can't wait to see, can't wait to come visit.
Anything to have you.
Anything you need from us, just let us know. And really thank you for doing this on a Friday morning, the beginning of a very busy weekend.
Yes. I know everybody in the call is probably busy, so thank you for being here. Thank you, Wendy, for giving me the time, for everything you do for us. I know it's been crazy, but I was telling you earlier, I think the more all of us are involved, the better we're going to end up, especially coming out of this crazy few months, crazy year for sure. A year of firsts for all of us. But again, I think together is how we get to the other side. And I'm sure the other side is full of more great things. Thankfully, we are in a good place today. We just need to keep it up.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Good to see
Thanks,
you both.
Rocco.
Likewise. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great weekend.
Ciao.
Ciao.